5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Welcome everyone to another Carpe Litos live stream. Today I'm joined once more by the amazing Brett. Brett, welcome aboard.
Hello, Keegan. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's a beautiful Sunday. The weather is great where I am. How's the weather down there?
Oh, it's beautiful, man. Couldn't have asked for better fall. I feel like we're actually getting fall this year, you know? Last year it was in the 90s until October, and this year we're really getting a fall, and I love it.
I know. That's so true. It felt like it was super hot last year, but
yeah,
those cool temps, loving it.
Yeah. That's global climate destabilization for you.
There you go. You heard it here first, though. You actually didn't.
I hope you're not hearing it here first.
If you heard it here first, you got some Wikipediaing to do.
Yeah, get educated, son.
Anyway, welcome to another Carpe Litos live stream. Today I am joined by Brett, which means, of course, we are playing and talking about nothing but Halo. So strap in.
Awesome. Okay, what game are you playing, Keegan? What's up on the to-do list here?
So I'm jumping in. I'm trying to jump into Halo 3. This might have been a mistake because it always has problems connecting for whatever reason. So we'll see if I actually get into a game. Oh, here we go. Cool.
So you released Halo 3 for PC, right?
Yeah. Okay, so they released 3 for PC in the summer, and I played through that, and I texted you the whole time freaking out because it was incredible.
Right. Oh my gosh, Keegan, I cannot wait to hear all of your thoughts.
And then ODST came out on Monday for PC, so I beat it like after work, a few hours a day, every single day, just like into it. Okay,
I loved ODST, and I'm so pumped to talk to you about it, but we'll get there. Let's start with Halo 2. Halo Season 2 just wrapped up recently. Dan and I made it through Halo 2, like pretty unbelievingly. We actually made it. And you played through it as well on PC when it came out. So Keegan, what did you think about the whole Halo 2 campaign, about old graphics versus new graphics, story, everything?
I'm not gonna lie, all right, there's some shenanigans happening right at the beginning here. All the vehicles got destroyed by our own team. Great.
I hate it when that happens.
So I was skeptical. You heard on my previous episodes, I was very, I had some nostalgia goggles for Halo 1, you know, and I loved the original Halo 1 graphics, and I loved the original game.
It's the breakthrough.
Yeah, exactly. So when I got into Halo 2, I was like, I don't know, there's like a lot of expectations riding on this. Like people like loved Halo 2 and 3. So like, I was worried that I wasn't going to like it because sometimes I tend to have these contrary opinions. But I'm pleased to say that Halo 2 was incredible with all capitals, honestly. It was incredible.
Oh, yeah.
Just a fantastic game all around.
Right. I mean, some herald it as like the greatest sequel in video game history. You know, like they really made sure that it was fresh and new and exciting, and you know the things that you could do in it were different. You know, the story was still great. You know, you get to see a lot of Halo 1 Combat Evolved really focused on the Halo itself, which was really cool, very cool. But in Halo 2, we got to fight on Earth. We got to fight on High Charity. Oh my gosh, what about the mid-game twist where you get to play as the Arbiter? The first time, everyone freaked out. They're like, what? You get to play Covenant side in this campaign? Like, huge. Absolutely huge. I don't necessarily know, because I wasn't super cognizant at the time, but I don't know if any game had ever done that where like, hey, now you get to play as the baddie as part of the campaign and see it from their perspective, especially one that is so vilified as a Covenant. And, you know, getting to use their invisibility and the energy swords. You actually get to use energy swords in Halo 2. Huge. absolutely huge.
Yeah, and dual wielding. It was just like, it felt like they took out every stop for this game.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Oh my gosh, the fact that you can pick people off of ghosts and other vehicles, you can like hop on them and knock them off and everything, crazy. Like I'm pretty sure, and I mean I don't know, this is all speculation, but I'm pretty sure in like the planning meeting they're like, all right, how can we make this game the most sick thing ever? And then they just had this huge brainstorming session. They're like, all right, yeah, we'll just do all of it. I know that they had to cut a huge amount for the campaign. The campaign was at least like another third long or something like that. Like there was a warthog race or like time trial at the very end, you know, because like in Halo Combat Evolved, at the very end you have to race the warthog along the spine of Pillar of Autumn to escape. And in Halo 2, they were actually planning on having you do that again at the very end. So you're on High Charity, the Flood has arrived, and Master Chief has to get to the Dreadnought, right? The Forerunner ship that powers the city. And in the game, in the final game, you just like take the teleportation tunnel or whatever, it like glows green and it just like shoots you across the city. But originally that was going to be another Warthog run, and it was going to be a time trial, and like they had to cut so much from the campaign just because it couldn't fit, it wouldn't fit. So they I think that they like the development team really tried to go all out and make it everything that they possibly could be. And you know, even though we didn't get to see some of that stuff, we really, I mean, they delivered so much for the game.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, dual wielding. You know, when Dan and I played through it, you know, we were originally playing on the Xbox 360 and the original Halo 2, and it was vertical cut screen, which I was like not expecting. It was something wrong with like the aspect ratio and I don't know, the way that the Xbox 360 translated to a smart TV, I suppose. But then I got an Xbox One and we played on the remastered version. And I'll tell you what, the graphics from the original Halo 2 to the updated ones are like, yeah, I don't know. Keegan, where do you sit on old graphics versus remastered?
So, and I need to do a little bit more research on this because I'm not exactly sure like what like the technology limitations were or anything like that. But Halo 1, if you remember to our last stream, I was pretty skeptical about the like how they redid the graphics. I wasn't.
Yeah. It wasn't that great.
Yeah. So Halo 2, I was like, all right, I'm interested to see, because in my mind, when Halo 2 first came out, it was the greatest looking game ever conceived by man. You know, it was it was the most beautiful thing in the entire world. So, which is so funny. Because I completely agree. Like, I remember it being like the yardstick for games. Like, oh, does it have Halo good graphics? Because Halo graphics are like out of this world. Exactly.
And it's funny looking back and being like, what the heck?
Yep.
It's terrible. I mean, not terrible, but like in comparison. Anyways.
Yeah, so when I launched it up, I was like, these graphics look worse than the Halo 1 graphics. So like I switched it back to the remastered, and the remastered is just gorgeous, first of all.
Yeah.
They did a really good job with it. The other thing though is the cutscenes for Halo 2. They didn't remaster the cuts. There weren't like too many cutscenes for Halo 1 for them to actually remaster, so it like was okay. The Halo 2 remastered cutscenes are a work of art. They're gorgeous. They're like short films. They like stayed true to the original animation. Like the cuts are the same. It's just they did such a good job, and I was kind of bummed that they didn't remaster Halo 3 in the same way.
I know.
I mean, you want to complete the trilogy on like that level of quality, but
seriously,
when it comes to the cutscenes and the graphics, like Halo 2, as far as the remasters go, is the cream of the crop. You know, it doesn't get better than that.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I mean, it looks like a movie.
Oh, for sure.
It's so good. It's so good. Okay, so that's actually good to move into it. So, what are your thoughts on Halo 3? So you finished Halo 2. It was a great sequel. Were you super frustrated with the very end where Master Chief arrives at Earth and Earth is under attack and he's in the Dreadnought and Lord Hood is like, Master Chief, what are you doing on that ship? And he goes, sir, finishing this fight. And then it like rolls credits. Were you, because like that, in that moment, like the first time gamers ever completed Halo 2, it had them throwing their controllers at the television screen because they were like that's like, you're gonna cut it right there. Like, the fight is like, it's happening now. So were you? Did you think that was like a good cliffhanger, or did you find yourself like, whimsically frustrated that they were gonna end it right there on such a big question mark?
So it's kind of like one of those situations of like, watching The Sopranos now as opposed to back when you had to wait a week.
Right.
Like if I had to wait years for Halo 3 to come out, I would have been furious. But since I knew it was coming out for PC in like a month's time, I was like, no problem. I'll just like pick this up later. Just a cute little break. So, and honestly, I don't know if it was foresight or luck on Bungie's part to separate those like that, but when played back to back, Halo 2 and 3 fit perfectly together. They flow seamlessly into one another. Right. And it makes it feel like this larger than life experience, which I think for them was a risk, because like you said, I mean, the amount of anger people must have had, and I do remember how angry people were at the cliffhanger ending. I didn't really know what it was at the time, but using my knowledge of today to understand what it actually must have been like, that was a risk. People would have been there's some backlash.
Right. So by the time Halo 2 dropped, I was like super into it, as so many people were. And I remember the long wait for Halo 3 and, doing so much online internet digging about like, what's the story going to be? What's going to happen here or there? And Keegan, I'll tell you what, man, there was some hilarious content out there about predictions for Halo 3. One of them, and I think you could just do it on Google search or whatever. It was like Halo 3 ending like leaked or something like that, and you clicked on it, and it was Master Chief in his Mjolnir armor skipping through a meadow with the SpongeBob song "It's the Best Day Ever" playing like in the background. So funny. Someone made a YouTube video hoedown of like what will happen when Halo 3 is released. I think it's called the Halo 3 hoedown. I'll send it to you. It is hysterical. There was also like a fake fan-made trailer made, and it talked about like all these ridiculous things that were going to be in Halo 3, like triple wielding, and it showed a poorly edited image of Master Chief with guns in two hands and one in his like mouth. Like it was hilarious. Just like all this content that was out there of like people just like so amped. Like the build up for Halo 3 was huge.
That was like peak YouTube too, so.
Yes. Back in the good old days. And then finally Halo 3 was released. And I have a buddy, his name's Nathan. And he remembers that when it dropped, and I think it was like on a Thursday night or something like that, he and his buddy drove an hour to this like store or whatever that was selling it. They bought it and they went home and they played it all night and beat it in one sitting, because and that was the culture. It was a huge like premiere where people were in lines and waiting and just so excited for the arrival of the final installment of the trilogy. And so the big question was, now that you have like played through it and you've completed the trilogy and everything, did they deliver? Were they able to bring it home? After such a successful Halo 2, did Halo 3 meet expectations and complete the series in a satisfactory way?
I would say yes. And this is coming from someone who had such a, romanticized the original Halo so much. They definitely took it in not necessarily a similar direction when you look at the first Halo, and this is partly just because like they built this like semi-open world game without necessarily a lot of stuff to fill it with, and I think they kind of got around that by essentially stressful nice I think they got around that by making the game kind of feel somber, and obviously Marty O'Donnell's like score helped with that, but the original Halo is just a very kind of it's quiet and meditative in a lot of ways. There's a lot of like going through the same corridor like 6 or 7 times, which ODST repeated, which we'll get into that later. But it felt very, I mean, as a first-person shooter goes, these days you look at first-person shooters and they're super, high octane and there's like it's nonstop action all the time. But Halo, there were like a lot of moments of silence and meditation, and That was something I really liked about the original games. And they did part from that direction, which I think was risky considering how successful Halo was, but they did it in such a good way that it didn't matter. You know, it's like if the results are there and you've made a fantastic game, like it doesn't really necessarily matter if you haven't necessarily, you know, adhered 100% to the spirit of the game you're making in the first place. You know, it's like the Star Wars predicament where it's like people were kind of freaked out about the prequel trilogy because it was more of George Lucas's like raw vision, and the original Star Wars were just like him guerrilla executing on this vision and like doing it poorly. And some people were like, well, your bad version was better. But I didn't necessarily feel that in this case. I felt like, okay, I see what they wanted to do and what they are doing and where they want to take this trilogy and franchise, and I'm 100% on board. Like, they did a fantastic job with it.
Yeah. So good. Halo 3. I thought the campaign in Halo 3 was a little short. I felt like Halo 2 campaign was pretty long, and then campaign in Halo 3 was pretty quick, actually. Not that that's like a bad thing. Again, you know, we get to experience a little bit of Earth, and then we go to the Ark, which was crazy. And you know, I think they did a decent job world building and, you know, really fleshing out, you know, the Forerunners and their design, the Covenant, and then even, you know, the Master Chief and his relationships. Like, I felt like they started to dig into those a little bit about, you know, him and the Arbiter. And when they first meet, Master Chief almost shoots him in the head. And by the end, you know, they're working as a team, and you know, the Arbiter now has respect for some of the humans and Master Chief. And interesting the role that the Flood plays in Halo 3, specifically when, you know, Truth is gonna ignite all the rings, and you work with the Flood to stop him, and you know, like, when that happens, you're like, okay, this isn't gonna last. But crazy that they actually team you up with the Flood at the Citadel to try and stop Truth from igniting the rings. But yeah, so your thoughts on gameplay, character development, was it fun? Did you have a good time? Did you feel like the ending was good? Did it make sense? Did it fit?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, so I played Reach, obviously, and I played ODST, and obviously Halo 1 is like a special case just because it's like so nostalgic for me, but Halo 2 and Halo 3 I would genuinely play through again just because they were that good.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, just like I mean, I don't necessarily love like talking about games and their like developer terms, but like the gameplay loop, like just the experience of like, you know, the gunplay and the tactics and like how beautifully they pace like vehicle sections and stuff like that. It's a delight to play, honestly. And it's one of those things where it's like, this is why Halo is so big, because like they really lay the groundwork with these games. So like, honestly, is everything with 2 and 3 just like fantastic? 10 out of 10. Would play again. Will play again.
Right. Yeah. Man, I still remember, you know, watching, you know, the very end, playing through, you know, you're in the Warthog with the Arbiter, you're trying to escape as the new Delta Halo is igniting to destroy the Ark. And, man, I legitimately thought the Master was done for. I was like, this is it. Like, he's not going to make it. Because you see the Arbiter return, like, with the half of the Forward Unto Dawn. But the other half doesn't make it. But, you know, I remember watching the very end and seeing, you know, Master Chief getting into the cryo tube and hearing him, oof, ouch.
That's rough.
and you know, hearing him say that iconic line, you know, wake me when you need me. You know, just it was a mix of emotion, you know, because you'd been on this huge journey, and you know, the Covenant had been shattered, and the Flood had been taken care of, and you know, you felt like you had been through this huge epic, and it was finally at its end, and you know, it just left me sitting there. And I literally just sat there and watched the credits because, you know, they had like the beautiful scenery from around New Mombasa, and you know, the music playing, and just being like, wow, like what did I just experience?
Yeah.
You know, it was just unreal, absolutely unreal. And you know, it's fun getting to, you know, play through that again and watch Dan get to experience it for the first time as well. As you know, right now Halo season 3 is up. Where you know, episodes are being released, and Dan and I are playing through it. And you know, it's funny to hear his takes on, you know, how the graphics are developing, how the story's developing, the different weapons that we get to use, and the graphics and everything. It's just nice, you know, getting to play Halo again through the eyes of someone who has never experienced it before, and just, you know, getting to relive that nostalgia and that excitement, and yeah, just really, really enjoy the game in all of its purity, you know.
Yeah, for sure. And it's that, you know, experiencing it with someone else for the first time that, like, even after I, you know, have played, obviously beat through Halo 2 and beat Halo 3, like watching you guys go through and play it again with someone else's reaction, you know, it was very much like anytime you like have a movie that you like really, really like, and you show someone else and watch them react to this movie you really, really like, it's like that. It's that same feeling, you know, of like sharing this experience and kind of getting to like relive what it was like the very first time again.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's so much fun. Like I really loved Halo 3. I didn't have, you know, an online connection or anything like that. So I literally just played the campaign over and over and over and over again. And just so much fun to play it with Dan and get to hear his take. Well, he's just like a quirky guy anyways. Yeah. We were playing the Crow's Nest, and, you know, which is like the second level, and you have to like go and like secure the barracks or something like that. And Dan was like, I'm going to stay here in the command center and do some administrative work. And he's like trying to type on the computers, and like, he's just like such a funny guy. And just has such an interesting and unique take on the whole game, because he's not like super serious about it. Like, he plays it with like a very light heart. And I don't know, it's like at one point we were in the barracks, and he killed a brute near the toilets, and so we used a gravity hammer and melee attacks to like give the brute a swirly. And like Dan, like, I don't know, that's just how he plays. He likes to have fun, and so it just makes, you know, playing through it really enjoyable, because he does care about the story and what's going on. And wow, that was an awesome takeoff with that Banshee. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, I did. I don't know what got me.
It's a rough angle there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's fun. We're, you know, making our way through the campaign now, and it'll be really interesting to hear his thoughts as we, you know, make our way through the campaign and everything. But it is interesting, after we played Halo 2 with the remastered graphics, going to Halo 3 then, and he's like, oh, Miranda Keyes looked a little bit better in Halo 2. Yeah. You know? It's like, she's looking kind of rough. Yeah. Which, again, makes me so sad that they're not doing a remastered for Halo 3. How could you not? I feel like easy money, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. But that's not my choice, I guess. I don't know if there's like a legal rights thing, because, you know, Bungie versus 343 or whatever. But yeah, so Keegan, you said that you also played through ODST.
Yes, so ODST just came out on PC on Monday or Tuesday, maybe. Okay. And I played through it every single day. I played it this week. And it's not a super long game, so it's not like it was that daunting. I kind of felt like, all right, I can get through this week. Yeah. And, oh man, I mean, I have a lot of mixed feelings about it. We can get into, oh, you can drive these?
The elephant?
What?
Yeah.
What have I been doing? I'm a born elephant driver. I cannot believe you can drive these. That's so cool.
And see, like, that's the thing about Halo 3, is that, like, you can do that, you know?
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. Oh, truly an amazing game with amazing things that you can do in it.
What was I just talking about? I can't even remember. I got
ODST.
Oh, yeah. So I do like that they kind of added a bigger emphasis on the story and the characters, because I mean, the thing about Master Chief is he's just this kind of like unbeatable kind of, and I don't necessarily think he's a boring character, but there's just not like a huge emphasis on it. It's really more like you put the player in the Chief's shoes and you go from there. But here they had a bit more of an opportunity to play around with other characters. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's an old-fashioned standoff. Oh, he's gonna beat me.
Oh,
I knew it immediately. So I did think it was cool that they got to play around with like characters a little bit more. We still kind of had a silent protagonist anyway, which I was kind of bummed about. Just kind of wanting to like if you're gonna try and like change the formula that much, like you might as well do away with the thing that makes the Chief, where he just like doesn't really talk very much unless he absolutely needs to.
Yeah. I mean, they also did that with Reach too. You play the lone wolf, and he doesn't like say much either. I mean, really, like the Halo formula is like give them a shell with a reflective visor, so anyone can imagine themselves as the main protagonist, I guess. But anyways, so what are some of your mixed thoughts on ODST?
So I wasn't a huge fan of the like open world concept, especially because it was like it was just one of those things where it was like it took place in a city, so you couldn't like you felt very trapped. You had to fight through the same wave after wave of Covenant over and over again. Yeah. And I wasn't a huge fan of that. Also, like the sections were also spread out in time that it was like kind of hard to like connect them in your brain, because with Halo you're with the Chief the entire time, so exactly like how these events like fold into one another. And Halo ODST kind of tried to play it off as a mystery, but I didn't really find the mystery like enticing enough. It was just like, what happened to my squad mates? Oh, that's what happened. Yeah. It wasn't wasn't like some big intrigue or some plot. It was just like, oh, we all got separated and then we got back together.
Right.
So, but I didn't think it was bad because it was short. It wasn't supposed to be like a full game. It was supposed to be kind of like an experimental, So, and I definitely appreciate that in a game at all. Just like trying to be experimental and not, not do what they've done before over and over.
Right.
So I definitely appreciate the effort in that way. But I just wasn't enthralled by it like I was Halo 3 and 2 and 1.
Right. I would agree with you on that. Like, the mystery wasn't super intriguing because it's like, just like what happened to my squad mates. Oh, look out, you're gonna get.
Nice. I figured my duty was to just keep steering the ship.
It's like what happened to my squad mates. Oh, we just all got separated. Not super enticing or something like that. And they jump around a little bit with like the story and what's going on. I did think some of the gameplay was fun. Honestly, what really sold it for me and what I really liked about it was just the vibe of it. It had this like film noir kind of like rainy detective kind of thing. I mean, not that like it was a detective or like mystery game, but it just had that like, sad saxophone with rain in the background.
Yeah, there was a vibe.
Yeah, and I loved that vibe. I listen to the ODST music when I'm like studying or working or something like that, just because I think it's good. And so I enjoyed that. I liked the dark city landscape a little bit, like exploring that. It was kind of feeling kind of trapped a little bit, but I think again, it was an experimental game. But I did like it. Not that I'm like, oh, I'm gonna play ODST all the time. But I enjoyed it for what it was. I liked the vibe of it. And honestly, I think one of the strongest things to come out of ODST was the game mode. What is it called? It's not Battlefield or Battleground, but it's the one where they put you just like in a battlefield and you just have wave after wave after wave of enemy, and you just have to like survive as long as you can, kind of. That was new. Like that came out, and then they put that in Reach as well. And I think that's been in a couple subsequent games as well. But it was so much fun. Like I remember, that was like the big thing that made it really, really fun was that game mode and getting to explore that. And, I mean, I remember playing that a lot. And the cheats that you can in that game mode, like bottomless clip and like super speed and super jump and like grunt apocalypse where it's just grunts, like thousands upon thousands of grunts. And honestly, it was the best. I think honestly, it was the best with Halo Reach. Doing Grunt Birthday Party, Bottomless Clip, and Grunt Apocalypse. Because, you know, like the DMR is excellent for like headshots, and with just like hundreds of grunts coming at you, just like popping them off and having the, you know, the confetti go everywhere and the or, you know, whatever with the Grunt Birthday skull on. But that was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with ODST, and I did like it. Again, yeah, it was different, but I did like it. And honestly, I think I don't know if you saw the trailer for ODST, like the live action one where the kid has an older brother who dies, and then so he joins the ODSTs, and it shows him in training, and it shows him on his mission, and, you know, fighting the brutes in person, and, you know, the intensity of the orbital drop, and, you know, hitting the ground and immediately jumping out into the battle and everything. Have you seen that?
No,
Have you
I
seen
don't
the trailer
think so.
for that? Oh, it's beautiful. It's so. I'll send that to you as well. It is so awesome. Like I remember watching that trailer and being like, okay, yeah, like I'm gonna get this game. So yeah, I liked ODST. I thought it was a lot of fun, and you know, again, a little experimental. Not everything was perfect, and not everything was, you know, revolutionary, but I thought it was good, you know, and I liked that they like took a experimental step and you know, tried to do something new. So, you know, I wish game companies did that a little bit more, but it is what it is. So yeah. So are you? Is Halo? I mean, Halo 4 isn't out on PC, right?
No, I don't think that'll be out probably till. Well, I don't know. They're going really fast.
They are.
Halo 3 came out, and then ODST came out like a month or two later. So maybe we'll get, because 4 is the last one in the Master Chief Collection, right?
I think so. Yes.
So then.
Yes, it is.
So is Halo Infinite technically 7? There's a 5 and 6.
So there is Halo 5, which had some pretty harsh criticism, and I agree with it. And then there's Halo 6, which is Halo Infinite.
Okay, gotcha. So there's only one I'll be missing, really.
Yeah.
Assuming Infinite isn't delayed forever.
Right. Halo 4. Oh man, I don't know. It may be the strongest. Like, I love the original trilogy, but Halo 4, I don't know. I'm super interested to hear what you have to say about it, because it is great. They do some really amazing stuff. They really dig into Master Chief as a character, and as a person, and I don't know. I think you will really like what they do in Halo 4. And then the problem with Halo 5 is, like, I think that they marketed it as like this manhunt, and like, I don't want to give too much away or whatever, but they really leaned into like the morality of Master Chief, and like, is he a good guy, is he a bad guy, and they played it up as this like huge manhunt kind of game, and then it wasn't. like the game that they advertised and the game that it were different, and
yeah.
I was just but we'll get to that soon enough.
Oh yeah, I'm so excited. I really hope it comes out before Infinite, so then I can watch. I mean, ideally, if you guys, I don't know how far you would have to get, because you would have to get through 3 and 4 for me to watch you play through 5. Because 5 isn't out for PC, and it's not coming out for PC. So
right.
5, I'm just gonna have to watch a playthrough. So hopefully, if they do delay Infinite enough, I'll be able to watch you guys play through 5 before we all jump into Infinite together.
That would be awesome. That'd be really cool.
And it's gonna crossplay, so we can. I can play on PC and you can play on Xbox, and
gosh, it's about time. Halo,
I know.
Get it together.
It's
get
been
that
like
going.
20 years.
Yeah, seriously. Gosh, and then everyone, like, I remember when, I think it was Master Chief Collection came out or whatever, and everyone returned and, you know, played in Blood Gulch, and they, it's like, oh, it's like it's 2004 again, and everyone's having a good time and teabagging and smacking people around and everything. So, yeah, it's good stuff. Great stuff to come. Halo Season 3 will continue to roll as Dan and I play through it, and we're just having an absolute blast. So for all you people who are with us today, just be sure to check that out and let us know what you think, and try and encourage Dan not to do so much administrative work during the game, because there are grunts and brutes to kill, and I can't do it alone if he's typing at a computer with his giant arbiter hands.
All right, everyone. Well, that's a great place to stop. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Brett, obviously, thanks for coming on.
Oh, yeah. Keegan, man.
I mean, yeah, I know. You're just a call away, especially when it comes to Halo.
Oh, yeah. And I'll talk for hours, man. Like, we haven't even really got into, like, the universe. And,
we haven't gotten into the nitty-gritty yet.
Oof. Content to come.
Amazing. All right, well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We have a lot of exciting stuff happening on Carpe Litos coming up. The content might be slowing down a little bit, but the ideas are definitely not. We are stronger than ever, and we're super excited to show you what we've got planned behind the scenes. So with that little tease, I'm going to sign off. Thank you once again, Brett. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and have a good one. See ya.
Absolutely. See ya.